locked it up, here's your keys. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Because we had bought it in 2003 and we were doing a bar and a restaurant and we had little kids and it was terrible. Because we had such long hours, so many employees, not really a thing we were good at. And so we were like, yeah, this is crazy. So we leased it out to other people. But in 2017, we decided to do it different. So the original Professors has all these old sandwiches with these crazy, silly names, and we decided, well, that's what people are coming for. But we'd been raising bees for the last 15 years, and we've been growing mushrooms for about 8 years. So just to back up a little bit, I'm from here in Hayes, and so is my husband. He had a farm north of Hayes and raised cattle. And I had worked on, I don't know if anybody remembers, rooftops, right up here for 10 years. I've worked in a lot of food service and always enjoyed it. So my friend is the one who talked me into buying Professors a long time ago. And I really wasn't ready. So when we reopened in 2017, we were growing mushrooms in the basement, and we raised honeybees, so we have honey. And things were going pretty good. Not being open at night was actually awesome, because we could really focus on our little daytime job and then take care of our farm. A year later, after we opened, my brother passed away in an accident, a car accident, and it was really hard to go to work and be like, how you doing? You know, just walking around like a zombie. So that was quite a struggle, but my son went to culinary school. My daughter graduated from Fort Hayes, but works at a night job at UPS, so they both work for me. My husband works in the kitchen. My mom's had 30 years of school of food service, and she bakes the cookies. She does whatever I need her to do. So without my family, it would be really nothing. Most of the people that I've hired, I've known something about them or known them their life, so they're like family. You get one. There's plenty. So we got through my brother's year of death, and then COVID came along, and that changed everything with food service, because I really wanted to focus on trying to do everything as sustainable as possible. But then here we are having to use styrofoam containers because of the way of the world. It was just crazy, you know, all these to-go things. Anyway, the town was great, and they supported us through COVID. My mom set up baking. We did mushroom beer rocks, cinnamon rolls, and then all our great customers, like Patty comes all the time. Yeah, I see you all. Yeah, it's really what got us through. And I had a friend who's like, Amy, you need an app. And I'm like, why? I would say the average person that comes in's age is over 60. But seriously, we put in that app, and half our orders some days are on the app. We cut a window in our storeroom, put a to-go window in. That changed everything. We just didn't think that was, COVID really changed everything for food service. It changed it where people thought they needed a lot more money to cook, which I always feel sad for the cooks, because the waitresses always make, at most restaurants, a lot more money than the cooks, and they really are the ones that make or break it. So yeah, COVID has changed everything. During COVID, I started doing an Artist of the Month at Professors. We just have a couple of big screens that hang in there, and every month a new person puts up their stuff. I don't look at it. I don't prejudge it, or whatever the word is. You know, it's your art. That's been pretty cool. So for over 3 years, so I've had over 40 artists, which is pretty awesome. And I have it booked up till the end of the year. If people just want to show their stuff or sell it, I absolutely would do that. Which is ended up being a pretty nice little bonus. We also also rent out our building. We do lots of class reunions and parties there, family reunions, graduations. I'm always busy. Like people want to, they always do things a little different nowadays, you know, have bigger graduation parties. So we do that. We have loved not being open at nighttime. We tried it for one, I would call it a semester, and you know, we're in Ellis County. A lot of people like to go out for a beer or something at night, or have more than a sandwich for dinner. So it wasn't worth trying to figure that out, but I always have all kinds of ideas. We've done dinner shows there where we do dinner and show. We've had live music. So it's a really awesome spot, and people support us so well. But I tell you what, it's always a juggling. Like, you know, you never know in the restaurant business who is gonna be there, you know, that day. So I always am happy when I have, you know, to-go order for 25 people, because I know at least I'll have 25 people. So that's the hardest part, I'd say, about professors is the income is never the same. So some days it can be great, some days it's not, but all the same people show up and want to get paid, so it's tough. And that's why Mike and I work there. People say, will you be there? I'm like, no, I am there every hour that we're open. I like to talk to every person that comes in. I don't want anyone to leave unhappy. So that's our goal. Let's see, I have covered everything on my list.
Could you tell us a little more about the farm side of it?
Sure. Which that is the side we would like to always do more of. But my husband and I basically are the ones that make all of the mushrooms and take care of all of the bees. Both of our kids help us, but they also both have other jobs. And my parents do a little bit of help for us, but yeah, we have about 50 hives, and every year we usually split those hives, and every year we lose about that same amount. It's really hard beekeeping in Kansas, because they're technically not native to Kansas. They're not even native honeybees to the United States. They're brought in from Europe. So, like the other day, Sunday, my day off, I was in a bee suit for about an hour, and it was just kind of awful. It was so hot, you know, and then when you get hot and irritated, the bees know it. You just start to hear this little bit of humming, more humming, because they know you're kind of done. But we just take a time out, and we just do a little bit at a time. So we're basically harvesting honey every week in the summer, because we also go to the farmers market, and that's the downtown market every Saturday, 7:30 to 11. We take honey and mushrooms, and this year every Saturday we've taken breakfast. So we've been making breakfast. We go to Professors at 6 o'clock, make breakfast burritos and ham, egg, and cheese croissants, and sell those at the market. That's the awesome thing about having a commercial kitchen, to be able to do things like that. Because not everybody buys honey every week, but they come every week, but they don't buy honey every week because, well, most people don't eat it fast enough. And so the breakfast has kept us going. I would say that we have to do a little bit of a lot of things just to make it happen. Before COVID, our food vendors had approached us and said, hey, do you think you could grow 300 pounds of mushrooms a week? We'll buy them, you can put them on our truck, and we'll take them to Kansas City. And we're like, oh my gosh, you know, what we've been waiting for. And so we rented a big warehouse and built all these little mini greenhouses. Got the mushrooms growing. We had about 20,000 pounds of mushrooms, because they called back and said, how about 1,000 pounds a week? And we were like, oh my gosh, our dreams are coming true. And then COVID happened. It was literally, we had the mushrooms in February, and March, like the world shut down. And they were like, sorry. We're like, okay. So we dehydrated mushrooms, we froze mushrooms, we made mushroom specials, we did everything you could possibly do with mushrooms. and realized that it wasn't our time to to be done working so hard. So yeah, we've cut back on them. In fact, we've even had a struggle this year of just growing enough mushrooms. We were selling them to Gella's and Defiance. Other restaurants were using them. And then it got too hot this summer and our mushrooms were a cold weather strain, and long story short, they just stopped growing. And so my husband and I, we have to do most of the hard work at the farm. We take wheat straw and cottonseed hulls, and we have to boil them to pasteurize it so that we can add the mushroom spawn. So we have big, like 55-gallon drums that we boil that in. And we have to use a pulley system just to pull it out because it's wet straw. We throw it on a large table, and then we hand stuff these sleeves where the mushrooms grow. So for Mike and I, now we're 50s. It's hard work. So people will be like, oh, I want to learn how to do mushrooms. I'm like, go for it. Good luck. It's hard work.
What led to mushrooms?
So my husband, his stepdad lived in Arkansas, and he grew up hunting mushrooms. Like as a little kid, that's what they did down there, and they could find all kinds. He just was infatuated and loved eating them. And so we would even find morels in Kansas here, even at Webster. That's a secret, I'll tell you. Somewhere at Webster. But so yeah, Mike was just totally fascinated with it, and fascinated with what mushrooms can do besides like eating. Like mushrooms can clean up oil spills. They can clean up plastic. There's so many things. Mushrooms kind of keep other plants going. So they're really fascinating, and it's something that, well, no one else was doing, and we're like, well, we really don't have to. Yeah, we can't even keep up. So there's plenty of space for other mushroomers. But in Kansas, we're in meat and potato country, so people are like, oh, mushrooms. But like we make a mushroom chili, I was saying, with the cinnamon rolls, and the winter, so awesome. We make mushroom taco salad at the restaurant, so good. You can add mushrooms to anything.
Taco salad.
It's so good, yeah. We do a mushroom stir fry. We're just getting all the vegetables. We gotta have enough mushrooms now. But we're getting all the vegetables for the stir fry, and now we're not having enough mushrooms. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We actually got a food truck this winter. We're working on putting it. We thought we would be done by summer, but it's always something. So we have the food truck, but we don't have the kitchen done in the inside yet. And hopefully that will be this winter. Because I think, yeah, we could go do our little thing, what we do at Professor's, easy, anywhere, and fast.
Do you have kind of an idea of where you want to set up your food truck?
Well,
or
so all these, all the gigs that happen around here, even taking it to the market, since we've been taking breakfast, we've been taking roasters, and I'm taking trip after trip, and so it would just be handy to roll up and make breakfast. And my son, who is a really great chef, he kind of has lots of ideas in his head about the food truck that might be like after bar time that I wouldn't be there.